Duck and hoisin have always been best friends, and we do know that combination with pancakes, so duck pancakes. But I'm going to change it up and make a stir fry, and I'll be using some duck breast. Now, I really want to get the most out of this duck breast, so I'm going to not only get some oil for this stir fry from the duck skin, I also want to use that duck skin as a textural component to this stir fry. So we'll take our duck breasts out of the pack, and I just want to carefully remove the skin so we get two textures out of this duck, so nothing goes to waste too. So just with your fingers, just tease the skin away from the breast. See how it comes off quite easily? Okay, that's the first one. And usually when I'm cooking duck breast, I would tell you to slowly render the fat to get it really crispy. We're going to do this, but in a slightly different way. So I'll just chop this skin up and take note that it will shrink quite significantly as it slowly heats up in the pan. Now, don't turn your pan on yet. You want the pan to start cold, and we want to slowly bring the heat up. The slower you bring the heat up, the more duck fat we're going to get. And I want lots of duck fat for this so it can season the noodles. So in with that, turn the heat on. And we'll just turn that to low, and we'll just let it do its thing in the wok. While that's happening, our duck breast. So I'm just going to take off this tenderloin. That's the perfect strip size for our stir fry. So I'll cut the rest of the duck, nice sharp knife, and into stir fry bits. 2 duck breasts for this recipe is enough for 4 people. You can see after you take the fat off how lean this is, but we're not worried about this for this recipe because it's all about a decadent stir fry. Excellent. Now we'll just pop that to one side while we prepare our other ingredients. In this bowl, I have some dried shiitakes that I've rehydrated in some warm water. I've also taken the stalk out because it's not as tender, so just remove them with a small knife. Squeeze out the excess liquid, and don't throw the liquid away because we need that for our sauce. It almost makes an instant umami style stock, and it is so flavoursome, so we want that too. That only took about 15 minutes to soften. I'll grab a new knife and we'll just slice these. You don't want it to be too thin. And if you want, you could use some fresh mushrooms for this, some oyster mushrooms. I love their texture, some field mushrooms, whatever mushies you like. But I just love the combination of mushroom and the duck. Okay, that's ready to go. Now onto the sauce. In a bowl, I'll add some black vinegar. Black vinegar has that deep, woody, almost smoky flavour to it, and you can now find that in your grocery store. If not, all good Asian grocers have it. And our hoisin sauce. So a good glug of hoisin sauce into the bowl. And I want lots of sauce for this because we do have quite a lot of noodles to dress. Before I whisk this, I'll add a few tablespoons of that reserved mushroom stock. So 2 tablespoons or so. I'll add 3. And we'll give that a whisk. So just like any other stir fry you're making, the best way to do it is have everything prepared. So that's what I'm doing while that duck fat renders. I've finely chopped some ginger and garlic and a thickening agent, corn flour, splash of water, and just give that another quick mix. We'll add that at the last minute. And some veggies. I'm keeping it super simple. It's about the mushrooms, it's about the duck, some Chinese broccoli, and I'll add these at different stages. You see the stalks, they're more fibrous, they're going to take a little longer to cook, so we'll just separate the pile and I'll just cut them into smaller pieces, about 2 centimetres. They can go with our mushrooms, and then the leaves, I'll cut them into bigger chunks because they're going to wilt away right at the end. Okay, now all I need to do is relax. We're going to wait for this fat to render out, and you'll see this beautiful duck fat shrink and become crispy. All right, see all of those yummy crispy bits. That is so delicious. So I'm just going to use a slotted spoon to take most of them out, and I'm going to garnish this stir fry with this yummy duck crackling right at the end. It's so good. And to make this crackling even better, I'm going to season it with just a hint of salt. And we'll just let them sit there while we get on with the stir fry. So we can turn that heat up now. It's already quite hot, and I'll add our gorgeous duck fillets now. So in that goes. Just use your tongs just to separate the meat. I'm using quite a large wok here, so I can add that whole lot. But if you've got a smaller wok, do this in batches so it doesn't stew, it fries. And just toss. See, good colour. And some bits are still rare. I don't want to overcook this duck, so I'll take it out now. We will return it in a moment. And the ginger, so julienne of ginger, get some warmth through that. A few cloves of garlic, and coat that in the oil. Oh, and the smell, duck fat and the garlic and the ginger, it's just the best thing ever. So soften that down. Over here, let's not forget our mushies, so I'll just grab our mushrooms. That's the next ingredient in line. Sprinkle them in. And I do still want to keep a slight crunch in these stalks, so we'll add them now and we'll continue on because I don't want them to stew or become soft. It's all about texture with this stir fry. And toss that. We'll return our duck breast and any of the juices. Right, time for our sauce. Just whisk that together again and pour it in. And our noodles. These are just Hoisin noodles that I've just separated them in some warm water. You don't want them to be all clumpy. You can see how many noodles there are here. And don't forget our leafy greens, they can go on top. It's quite full, but we'll be right. We're just going to toss that now, and those leafy greens will start to wilt down. And look at that glorious sauce coating all of that duck. Smells pretty good. Just toss that around and get those leafy greens at the bottom of the wok so they wilt quite fast. And don't forget our corn flour mix. You only need a small amount of this just to bring the sauce together, and it'll also give it a gloss. One last toss. And then the heat off. Simple as that. I'll grab a plate and we'll pile our duck and Hoisin noodles up. Pile it up, be generous. Lots of those Hoisin noodles, the duck breast on top, some of those shiitakes. And because I do like that sauce, a spoonful of that over the top. Finally, the pièce de résistance, our gorgeous duck crackling over the top. That is such a delicious stir fry. I mean, this would be fantastic without this, but making the effort to really make that crackling as crunchy as possible, that textural component takes a standard stir fry to a brilliant stir fry.